congressmen, local congressmen and federal congressmen and senators. Nothing, we have lifelong people who are doing this as a career, and it was never meant to be that. People need to get involved. People need to look about what they can do to what they can change to improve things. It's hard. Change is hard. Change sucks, but you got to do it unless you want more of the same. And then you ask Denise, what's on the other side of it? I think the most valuable thing that lies on the other side of really taking the Band-Aid off and really changing is a unity in our country that we used to have. I grew up in the 80s, and the best way to illustrate it is Rocky IV. You know what I mean? Because
keep going. Say more. You got me.
I love the USA.
Yes.
It was even at the end. The dang Russians and you fought on Christmas Day in Russia, and they started saying, and then heck, I didn't even plan this, Mike, but at the end, what does Rocky say? He says, if I can change, you can change, everyone can change, and everyone's cheering, and the flag is flying, and everyone loved USA, and that's kind of a dumb, cheesy example, but I think the other side of this means a unity within our country and less contention and, everybody fighting for what is right, fighting for what is in America's best interest. And that's not to say we're just going to trample everyone that we come across, but it's just, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of out of words now.
No, you crushed all the words. You said all the right words in the right order. And then this is what happens when you are wise enough to bring up Rocky. It all makes sense. If
I can change, я думаю, что каждый должен измениться. And you can change. Вы можете измениться.
Daniel, well done. Come on now, see, you bring up Rocky IV and you just go down that road and you'll find even more brilliant insights. At the end of that road, Daniel, well done. John said, right now we're taking our medicine. Hold your nose and take it. It was not good. We need a full assessment on where we were and where we were headed. No good. Need change. Specific change, not generic hope and change. Specific change. We're doing it. There's a better end. There's a better end to it. We're in a better direction. And don't let hysterical people take you out of it. Mike Slater, right? Pardon me, Dan. Spread the word.
Profiting from the financial markets has never been easier. TrueTrade introduces the world's first one-click AI-assisted trading platform. No trading experience? No problem. Just purchase their platform, connect your trading account, download their mobile app, and turn it on. It's that simple. No need to worry about what or when to trade. With just one click, their AI software handles everything for you. No learning, no experience, no headaches. Up or down, bull or bear, TrueTrade's AI software identifies high-potential trades with pinpoint accuracy. Whether you're trading a single account or managing an entire portfolio, TrueTrade software runs on autopilot with its AI risk management protecting your downside. Don't have the funds to trade with? No problem. TrueTrade offers an unprecedented guarantee on their software, plus a guarantee of at least $300,000 in tradable funds. You keep the profits. Join thousands worldwide who are already profiting from their AI-driven trading technology. Are you ready to step up your cash flow? Head over to TrueTrade.io. That's TrueTrade.io. That's TrueTrade.io. Investing in all trades, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. See terms and conditions.
You didn't start a business to babysit your poorest performing employees. That's exactly why I started my business, so you don't have to. Hi, I'm Alan Jones, founder and CEO of Bambi. I created Bambi so small business owners can take back control of their business. Need to fire a poor performing employee who happens to now want 3 months off? Your Bambi HR manager will take care of that for you in your first week with us. You spend your time coaching your A players, we'll take care of the rest. I'm so confident that Bambi will help you focus on what you love about running your business that I'm offering a $1 trial to the service for your first month. Trust me, there are no limits to the amount of calls or questions you can give your Bambi HR manager. After your first month, just $29 a month for companies of any size, month to month, no hidden fees, cancel anytime.
Get a month of Bambi for just $1. Go to Bambi.com and type Patriot under radio to schedule your first call with an HR manager right now. Go to BAMBEE.com, Patriot Radio.
Individual freedom, the right to bear arms. We are serious he is not going to back down on the tariff hikes he has imposed on U.S. trading partners, including China, which is retaliating by hiking levies on American imports. Financial markets both here at home and abroad are down sharply amid much uncertainty over where this is all going.
China accused the U.S. of protectionism and economic bullying with the tariffs. In Tokyo, losses are occurring as traders don't know which direction President Donald Trump's tariff strategy will go in. Meanwhile, in an interview with Australian network AUBC, analyst Jim Harcourt says the U.S. tariffs hurt on a variety of levels.
They hurt jobs. They are inflationary.
I'm Charles Tillerson.
Mr. Trump argues it's a case of short-term pain for long-term gain. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says more than 50 countries have approached the administration about lowering their non-tariff trade barriers and lowering their tariffs as well. The president says he's keeping a close eye on the measles outbreak in Texas and elsewhere. 2 unvaccinated youngsters and 1 adult have died from measles-related illnesses.
So far, fairly small.
Measles-related illnesses, so not measles.
Something that people have known about for many, many years. I mean, measles has been, this is not something new. And we'll see what happens. But certainly, if it progresses, we'll have to take action.
Yesterday, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. attended the funeral of one of the young measles victims in Texas. The president should meet today with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu at the White House. The Gaza war and tariffs expected to figure prominently on the agenda. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 741 points. NASDAQ futures are off 378. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Morning, Brandon.
Renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers nominated by all states or securities cover subject to policy terms and conditions.
Republicans may steal the Democrats' thunder on one of their favorite issues, child tax credits.
Lawmakers are eyeing an increase in the hugely popular $2,000 per child credit as part of the GOP's sweeping tax legislation, with some also pushing for a big hike in a related breakdown of the babysitter credit. Picking up the issue now would help Republicans appeal to working class voters to power their electoral sweep in November. At the same time, it would help rebut complaints from Democrats the broader tax plan that they are assembling caters too much to the wealthy. The push appears to be getting some traction. The broader GOP plan is likely to include some kind of expansion. House Republicans, who have been mum on their plans, are also in favor of expanding the break. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Ukraine's economy minister says Ukraine will send a delegation to Washington next week for talks on a new draft of a proposed mineral deal with the U.S., marking a renewed push to finalize an agreement. News and analysis, Town Hall.
Truth is the authority. First thing, bring your A game because I'll take nothing less. We're going to have an open and honest discussion, but the facts matter. Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country. The Dave Webb Show.
Happy Monday to you. Welcome to a brand new week. I'm Mary Walters sitting in for David Webb, and I'll be with you all week. I'm so excited about that. I am really looking forward to getting to reconnect with you guys. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I'm really happy about that. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Really good show lined up for you by the boys, and when they've done a great job. EPA administrator shutting down this museum that was solely taxpayer funded because nobody went to it. It was an EPA museum. I didn't even know they had one, but we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about climate change and all that stuff. Next hour, Emily Sturge with Campus Reform is going to talk with us about protecting how universities are protecting illegal immigrants instead of protecting the women and the other American students on campus, like, and legal immigrants on campus. Like, they're not doing that. It's all flipped on its head. And in the last hour, you know, I'm Colonel Rob Mattis, who will be joining us. We're going to discuss all things all over the world: Russia, Ukraine, Elon Musk, Israel, Middle East. But China and Elon Musk, there's a connection there. And is it a good one? Could it be a bad connection? So there's a lot to unpack here. So also don't forget, you can follow me on X at Mary Walter Radio. I will do my best during the show to look at your comments, but I can't promise anything because I try to multitask with that, and then sometimes, you know, I'm trying to also talk to you, and you know, it goes sideways. So I'm gonna try. I'll do my best to multitask. So it's Mary Walter Radio. There's no S. And don't forget, my podcast is back tomorrow. We took a day off, a week off. We didn't do it last Tuesday. We had a little family emergency, so I did not do it on Tuesday. But we're back tomorrow, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. It's live on YouTube and Getter because it's interactive. You can make comments, ask questions. So 7:15 tomorrow night Eastern Time on YouTube and Getter. Look for Mary Walter Radio there, and then the audio is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, and then of course the videos are up on YouTube for all eternity. So you can just click on the live tab and you can watch those. So hope you join me. So I'm curious, how was your protesting this weekend? Did y'all go to protest? Am I the only one who thinks Washington, D.C., where the majority of the population is of color, black, Hispanic, whatever, mostly black, it was all white people, and is it me, or is this like the boomers' last hurrah? They're breaking out all the protest songs from the 60s. I mean, they still dress the same as they did in the 60s, and you know, they all look like homeless people. But it was very weird and uncomfortable and awkward, I thought, from what I saw of these protests. You can jump in, 866-957-2874, 866-95-PATRIOT. I didn't see any black people in the protests in D.C. I mean, there's a smattering here and there. But based on the population of Washington, D.C., that was it. The black people were not coming out to protest yesterday. Now, maybe you saw something different, but that's what I saw. And again, population, for the people who actually live there, the citizens. I don't see them out here protesting. I don't see them out here parading in the streets here. It's all these aging hippies with their masks on and their Birkenstocks, and they all, there's a look to them, and they were, you know, to me, so excited because they're reliving their glory days here. That's what I'm looking at. Where there were young people, yes, there were some young people protesting as well, but the people up on the stage with the guitars and singing Peter, Paul, and Mary were definitely the boomers, the old aging hippies who were like, oh my gosh, it's going to be just like Berkeley, hate Ashbury all over again. It was weird. I'm just curious as to what you thought about the entire thing. And there was no talking any sense to any of these people. And I loved the interviews, and I had some of them, but I was going to play, but a lot of them required visuals because they'd say, what about your sign here? And you don't see the sign. So what I decided instead was we could just talk about it, because I'm sure you saw the videos and everything as well, where these people were asked about, hey, on your sign, what does that mean? And they can't explain it. I saw one, it was a cacistocracy or something, stop the cacistocracy. So a reporter went up to him and says, well, what does that mean? And he's a woman holding one side and he's holding the other side, two boomers. And not that I'm mocking boomers, because I don't like that, mocking an entire generation based on the actions of a few. Are there some similarities? Yeah. But for illustration points, purposes, they were older. All right, probably retired all the time in the world, had nothing to do, so they're like, yay. And he couldn't answer the question. He had no idea what that meant. What did cacistocracy? I still don't know what it means. What does that mean? And so he asked another guy, and he looks at the other guy, and he tries to answer the question. Then the first guy takes out a folded piece of paper, and he reads from it to tell you what it means. So somebody else made that sign, handed it to him, and asked them to carry this sign, and then if anybody asks you what it is, here it is. He didn't commit it to memory, so he pulls this piece of paper out of his pocket, unwraps it, picks the hard candy off of it, and he unwraps it, and he reads what it means. So he had no clue. These people had no idea what the hell they were talking about. Nothing. It was hands off. Hands off my Social Security. Hands off my Medicare. Hands off my Medicare. So this brings me to cut 7 here. Now this is a flashback to February. And Caroline Levitt reported in February something about Medicare and Medicaid and the money. Nobody screamed about it. It was a blip on the screen because it had to do with the Biden administration. And this is one of the first things that Doge found out. Now they're against Elon. We hate Elon Musk. He's stealing our money. Listen to what Caroline Levitt said in February. So here's a little refresher, a little flashback. Cut 7. Oh, okay. All right, so we'll bring that up to you. In the meantime, let's go to G in New York. G, you're on the David Webb Show. Hi. Oh, I think we have an audio issue. All right, hang on, G. Oh, wait, that was me. Sorry, that was my fault. I was supposed to hit the button to turn you on. My apologies, I'm not doing my job this morning. Hi, G.
Hey, how are you, Mary?
I'm doing good. So how were the protests in New York?
Wow. Well, they haven't really changed. I spoke to the screen caller. You can hear my voice. It's a little bit emotional. I'm a small business owner. I speak to David as frequent as I can. I absolutely love him and what he does. Last night I decided to play the Oliver Stone 1991 JFK movie for probably the 65th time. And I was really infatuated by the whole situation. And for 30 years I've been really digging deep into it. And Mary, I got to tell you, the similarities between what happened back then and what's happening right now, it's unbelievable in terms of cover-ups and, what, Mary, it just doesn't go away. And the more you see that movie, the more you understand that this has been going on for a long time, and you have more of a true understanding and a love for what our president is doing. No one else had the B-A-L-L-S, I don't know if I can say that, to do what he's doing with Doge, okay? Because every other president knew that it would just destroy their presidency because it would be looked at as absolutely crazy. You can't go up against the big machine. Trump's doing it. And he doesn't have to do any of this. And if you go back to that movie, that court scene where he says this is fascist, this has been going on for 65 plus years.
So, first of all, comment. You know who started Doge? It wasn't Donald Trump. It was actually Barack Obama. Barack Obama, if you go back and remember, he talked about waste, fraud, and abuse all the time. We're going to ferret out waste, fraud, and abuse. He talked about it. And he would actually talk about the waste and especially fraud in Social Security, in Medicare. He talked about it a lot. And he put someone in charge of ferreting out that waste, fraud, and abuse, which is why nothing happened. Guess who he put in charge? Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
He put Joe Biden in charge. So nothing ever happened with Barack Obama. So Barack Obama, credit to that man. I have to give credit where credit is due. He's the one who started this, and it went nowhere. He put Joe Biden in charge of it, so nothing happened. But I have one quick question for you. I'm going to let you go. Do you think that when the boomers die off and they're too old, to do this whole, when they don't have them up there with the guitars and everything, that it just dies off?
I don't know if any of this dies off. I just think that the government keeps the American people, their interest away from what's really happening and their focus. I'm going to leave you with this, and I was hoping you'd give me just real quick. I know you have other callers. Look, here's the bottom line. Love him, I follow him everywhere. I think he's one of the most important people in this century that has ever, come about. I will tell you this, though. I think they made a mistake. And, Donald Trump did not need to name Elon Musk in terms of who's in charge of Doge. I think he's going to keep this under wraps, kind of like, the Great Oz, the Wizard of Oz. Do what you have to do, but let's just do this, with a committee. I just think, though, when Elon was showing up on Air Force One
G. I just think if he can do the job, he's the smartest guy. They got the algorithms up and running. Like, he's stupid smart. That's what this is. They're running algorithms. Doesn't need your money from Social Security. All right, let's try. Here's the flashback from Caroline Levitt. And again, this goes back to February, and I don't remember any protests when we found out this. Maybe you can correct me. Here's Caroline Levitt.
Earlier, the subcommittee headed by Chairman Marcia Taylor Greene, her and her staff discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of you might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this point?
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOGE is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us. Unfortunately, I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So where's the rest of that cash?
Yeah. Where's the money? But I don't remember any of these seniors protesting and taking to the streets because $2.7 trillion in their Medicare and Medicaid money went overseas to people who were not eligible to receive it. That is 8% of our national debt. So your Social Security money that these people are so upset about, it's being stolen, but not by Elon Musk. It's being stolen by the incompetence in your government. And this happened under the Biden administration. But I don't remember them protesting about that. And if you try to have a conversation with them, because I broke a personal record yesterday, by the way. I got blocked by more liberals yesterday than any day ever in my entire life. I got racked up like 7 blocks yesterday. And all I did was say to them, well, what are you protesting for? Or I said to them, well, what did Donald Trump do that hurt you? What has Donald Trump or Elon Musk done that has personally affected you? And they can't handle it. They can't answer the question because they don't know. It's like the guy holding the sign, and I want to play the audio so bad, but you couldn't see what was on the sign, and the audio from outside there was a lot of people yelling and singing and this and that, so it was really difficult to hear. But he and his wife, I assume, are holding up this big sign and to stop the cacistocracy. I've never seen this word before. And the reporter went up and asked her, well, what does that mean? Like, what is the cacistocracy? And he didn't know. He had to pull a piece of paper out from his pocket and read it. That's how committed these people are. So I gotta tell you, I think either they were bored, and so they went because, yay, I did this as a kid. This is gonna be fun. But I do think there were a good number of paid protesters there. I just do. I don't think that many people showed up. And again, go back to my Washington, D.C. example. There were not a lot of black people in the crowd in Washington, D.C. from what I saw, all right? And maybe I just missed it, but that city is a black majority. So why weren't they taking to the streets as well? It doesn't make sense to me. Let's go to Chuck in Massachusetts. Chuck, welcome. You're on the David Webb Show. Hi.
Well, because this day and age, most black people are awake. A lot of them are conservative, and they don't believe the protesters. I'm called to tell you about a girl, a female YouTuber. Her name is Angela Rose. She went to the protest, was videoing, and in the middle of the protest, she pulls out a MAGA hat and puts it on and starts interviewing people. A lot of people were walking by giving her the finger, the camera, and, saying, you're anti-American, and what I refer to the protesters that believe what they're saying, this is the zombie apocalypse. This is the current zombie apocalypse. They're brainwashed, they're walking around half dead. Yeah.
So let me ask you, Chuck, the question I asked G, do you think that because and maybe you noticed it as well, they're mostly aging boomers. These are aging hippies that did this in their prime, and I think they're just reliving their glory days. Do you, first of all, do you agree with that? And secondly, do you think it ends as they get too old to do this anymore? They're wheeling out in their walkers, and we're done with this nonsense.
If you watch that video, Angela Rose, go to her YouTube channel and watch the video of how people are reacting. You can see some people that are just there. they probably did get paid. Hey, I'm going to go and lie, and I'm just going to collect $200. But as far as old hippies, I got mixed thoughts about that, because people were Vietnam vets and they got messed over by the government. I don't think they would be protesting this because we're going after their corrupt government. So I don't think anybody that was messed over by the government that was a Vietnam vet, I don't think they're going to be at any of these protests, because they're like, no, Elon, he's doing the right thing. Trump and Elon are doing the right thing by looking for the corruption. And if anybody that's protesting that, you are a part of the scam. You're trying to cover up, and you're pro-corruption in the government.
Yeah, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. Chuck, thank you so much for joining me. Coming up in just 10 minutes here, Steve Malloy will be joining us, and he is a climate guy. He's a scientist. So we're going to talk about this museum, talking about waste, fraud, and abuse that Lee Zeldin shut down.
By the way, there was a hands-off protest this weekend. Did you care? You didn't. We'll talk about it.
The Willcow Majority coming up next at noon East after the David Webb Show on SiriusXM Patriot.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, no one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive
Jody,
IRS actions.
what's up, bud? You guys have a good day. I'm going to try and fire it up. I've been having issues with studio.
Optima Tax Relief.